Everybody. Welcome to Monday Moves. It's Monday, it's 2 p.m. Eastern. So that means that we are here live talking about a topic that will help us move forward in life. And it's going to hit everybody a little differently. And that's the beauty of Monday Moves. Today's topic is something that I was thinking about last week for myself and for my children and for our homeschooling, and then also for some other programs, if you will, that I'm working on or with other people. And the topic is success and how success is deeply personal to each and every one of us. So success to me does not look like success to any other person on this screen. Maybe in small little tiny areas of our lives, we're going to have overlaps. But if I was to die tomorrow, in order to feel successful, I would want to have had XYZ, either relationships, money, impact, whatever it is, right? And so for each of you, it's different. So for a lot of people, and correct me, guys, or actually just tell me, put it in the chat. What is the thing that you think about when I say success? What comes to mind with the word success? What is the first thing that comes to mind? So I'll give that a second for anybody to comment. Because for a lot of people, we already have a preconceived notion of what success is for us, or we already have a clear picture. Maybe you've already done this work. But the majority of people, especially young people, when I talk to like teenagers about, being successful, a lot of times it's money. They just think about money and titles and status. They see, if I talk to like teenage boys, personal achievement. Oh, I love that. So if I talk to like teenage boys, I'm like, what is success to you? And they'll be like, oh, fancy cars. Like, that's it? Just having the fancy car? Like, that's awesome. You're going to totally be able to have that if that's what you really want. That's easy to get. But yeah, so personal achievement is what Sarah wrote. And personal achievement is, again, personal to you. So I love that. But if you don't define success for yourself, then you're always going to feel like you're chasing someone else's measure, right? Maybe even last year, one of the Monday moves was talking about a measuring stick. And I was using that analogy as a measurement to what success looked like then. And I want to bring that back. And we're going to talk about that again today because, I could use a measuring stick and I could measure in centimeters and inches, right? Millimeters, yardstick. Like you can measure in a lot of different ways. And you're still measuring distance. But it's not the same thing. If I say something's 3 inches and it's actually 3 yards, we've got a big miscommunication. So if I'm measuring my success based on the status of my job, getting the title at my position, having so many followers on social media, making a certain amount of money, being able to pay off the car, pay off the house. Like if it's all about, measurable things, that's great because you can reach your goal. If that's part of it, it's great because you can reach your goal. But success is so much deeper than just the measurable things. It's actually who you're becoming along the way. Who is the person that can pay off their car, right? And who is that person? How do they behave? How do they show up in life? How do they treat others? It's very important. And so, yeah, Liz, knowing with all of my heart that I did my best, that's success. Yeah. That's success. I'd love to ask you guys, what does success actually look and feel like to me? What does it actually look and feel like? Because the feeling is more important than the look, like the tangible look, the reality. The feeling happens deep inside when even the things on the outside aren't working or aren't looking right yet. For example, I'm going to use the followers online. When I first started building Tap Fit Fam here, I had, a social media that started from zero. I started on Instagram because I just liked the app the best. Started from zero. And every day I would post, and every day I would post, and every day I would post. And I really didn't know who I was talking to yet. I was learning about marketing. I was learning about how to dial in my messaging. I was learning all these things that were important to becoming an online entrepreneur, period, but definitely online. And every day, if I measured my success every single day just by the amount of followers I had for the first 3 months, I would be a failure. So my success, what success was to me at that point for my business personally, had nothing to do with a measurable number like followers. It had everything to do with, am I showing up and doing the thing that's lighting me up amidst the turmoil inside of going, ooh, I can't believe you're starting something for you when you should be just doing this over here. You shouldn't be trying to do all these extra things. You should stay focused, right? There was a lot of mindset that goes into anything and everything, but that's what the success measurement was for me. That was my measuring stick at the time. Am I showing up consistently for me and for everything else that mattered in my life, my core values? So I made a post last week. I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, but I made a post maybe over the weekend. Who knows? Time flies when you're having fun. And I said, success is earned. It's not bought. And I really loved this reminder because success is earned and not bought. You know, we can easily, you know, buy followers even. I'm going to keep using this as an example because it's a very easy one for me to use. But I mean, I can buy followers. I can actually go online, and many people do this. And you can pay other companies, other accounts that have like 100,000+ people. And I get people message me at least 2 to 3 times a week, every week, if I would like to invest and pay $12, and they'll push it out this many times. And if I pay them $25, I can buy this many followers, and they can guarantee, I mean, you can buy success, sure, if that's what success is. But if you go that way, guys, you're really missing out on the journey. And one of the events that I did in 2023, I believe, was called Journey to Joy. And it's the joy that you find in becoming that version of you, that successful version of you, whatever that is. But it's the journey. It's the trudging through the mud that gets you there, that you're like, I am successful because I knew with all of my heart I did my best, because I went through the hard times. You can't buy that. You cannot buy that kind of success. You can pay for shortcuts, for sure. You know what you need to be successful. Maybe you've got too much on your plate and you're like, I got to get this thing that doesn't bring me joy off of my plate. I'm going to delegate it to somebody else so that I can be over here and work on my success metric that brings me so much joy. It's deeply personal. It's not going to look the same for all of us. In the post that I made last week, I said a fit body, a calm mind, and a house full of love aren't things that you can buy. They are cultivated through your daily choices. And I don't remember the exact quote. It was a quote by a gentleman named Naval about a fit body, a calm mind, and a house full of love. I was going to pull it up, but I forgot to pull it up. But it was a Naval quote, and I just loved it because as a mom, it resonated. That quote resonated to me as that's what success is to me. My physicality, my health, like my being, my body is in shape and as balanced as that can be at any physical time of my life, right? I have a calm mind, meaning that I when it gets crazy in here, I can weather it and I can calm it, and I have the tools to do that. That's success. And if I don't have the tools, if I need help, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to find people. That's success for me. And then a house full of love. I really want that. Like, that's success. Doesn't have to be that way for everybody, but it's cultivated daily. That's the point I wanted to get to. How many of us have had successful day after day after day, maybe, followed by you wake up one morning and you're like, boom. Maybe it could be because you're on your period if you're a woman, or you're going through menopause and the hormones and whatever. It could be things. We have triggers. But you guys, I know I'm not alone in feeling success, or you're like riding the high, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm failing at everything. What was I thinking? I've taken on too much stuff. I can't believe, there's no way. I can't do it all. Forget it. I'm failing. Like, we've all been there, right? So at some level, right? That's the roller coaster of life. It's so beautiful. But it's the consistently cultivated success. Even when I wake up and if I feel like I'm failing at whatever it is, I'm not just going to be like, well, forget it. I quit. I give up. That's not success, right? You weather the storm and you work through the hard, because we do hard things. I just said this right before I pressed live with Arcadia. because we are working on some hard things. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy, especially when you're little and your feelings are big, and you're little and your feelings are big. You don't understand. And so, yes, Patricia, gratitude for each day. And that is success right there. Being able to center and calm your mind in gratitude. And what I said at the beginning is it's a feeling. Success isn't just like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to have this tangible thing that I can look at. It's a feeling, and gratitude is a feeling. That's absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. So what I'd love for you guys to do is, I think for success, I personally think that the most important thing to remember here is alignment to self. Okay. Alignment matters more than achievement. And I'm going to say that again. Alignment matters more than achievement. I know many, 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 many people who are out there right now achieving amazing things, and they are not fully aligned to them. And when they're not fully aligned and you're achieving them, at the end of the day, they feel this big in your success bucket as opposed to when they're fully aligned and they don't even go as well, and you don't even achieve the entire thing that you were looking for, but they feel massive in the success bucket because you're like, that was fully aligned and that was all of me, and it served all of the things that I love. So alignment matters more than achievement. And if you're pushing in a direction that doesn't feel aligned to your values, it will feel empty. Are you working toward a goal that fulfills you? Any goal, big or small, doesn't matter. Or is it just something that you think you should do? I think it would be good if I did this. I think it would be good. It needs to be fully fulfilling to me. If it's not, then it's not meant for me. Bless and release. Okay. And so I don't know if this will resonate with as many people as it will the other things I've said. But for me personally, again, I said success is deeply personal. So for me, personally, success isn't doing more. It's not doing more. Success for me is staying true to who I always knew I was meant to be. And I like to talk about the younger version of us. And if you didn't attend the Love Yourself event, it was a 3-day event we did back in February. If you didn't attend that and you still want information on that, you can actually access the entire 3 days still. And you just let me know if you want the link, and you can get that access with the workbook and everything. But the entire Love Yourself event was focused on loving you. And something special and magical is that when we're children and we're young, we are the closest to our authentic selves that we will ever be for the rest of our lives. And many people grow out of it because we have to adapt to match to societal expectations and perceptions of how we're supposed to behave. And another thing I'm working on right now as a mom, trying to be mindful of that as I'm raising my children and guiding them to be all of them, but also to be productive members of society. It's a very interesting balance and dance. Is a very interesting balance and dance. And today is feels like an exceptionally heavy one to think about it. You know, when I was younger, I vividly remember sitting on the floor at the dance studio. Up at the front of the studio, there was a wall of mirrors, and I was looking at the dancers. And as I was looking at the dancers and I was watching the moms there was a couch in our studio, and all the moms would kind of congregate on the couch. And I was watching all the moms, and my dance teacher's over here and all the students are over here. I vividly remember sitting there and promising my younger self that I would never stop dancing, that I would always have dance in my life, and that I would always do my best to try to be the example, not just do what a lot of the moms were doing on the couch, which was sitting on their butt, telling the other kids that they should practice harder and they should do more and they should blah, 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 when I could very, very, very easily tell that none of them practiced or exercised anything on a regular routine ever. And for love, I mean, there was a lot of overweight moms yapping and trying to act like their kid was the best and tell their kids what to do. And I remember thinking, I'm like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that preteen age. And I was like, if you've known me at all, I'm big on being a hypocrite. And I remember being like, hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite in my head as a kid. Now, again, I was a teenage preteen. And so I was probably being a little arrogant in my own preteen age, but I remember making that promise to myself that I would always dance and that I would never stop doing the things that I loved. I remember saying this to myself. And so for me, you guys, success is deeply measured on that. That's a big one for me. So do you have something in your life that when you were little brought you so much joy and that you were like, that's who I am. That's who I was always meant to be. Like Liz, as a kid, man, bucking the system, doing it your way. Beautiful. Are you doing that still? Because that could be the missing link for people who feel less than successful because you're not in alignment to who you are and what your heart says to do. Now, some of us outgrow the things we did when we were little, and maybe that's a good thing. I'm not saying this won't measure for everybody. This won't be a part of your measuring for everybody, but it definitely is for me, and I wanted to share it because if it helps you, fantastic. I'm going to read what Patricia wrote. She said, now that I'm retired, my family is adults, so I'm focusing on myself and my husband and taking piano lessons. My kids just finished their piano lessons and found your site, so taking tap is a dream come true. I'm honored that I get to do this with you, Patricia. Yeah, me too, Sarah. I love this so much. Making time for you because as the mother, you have nurtured and raised and poured into the others. And now they don't need you as much. They definitely still need you, but they don't need you as much. So now you have this time and you are using it to pour into you. And that's so, so beautiful and admirable. What would your younger self be proud of in who you are today? Sarah, you mentioned the word tenacity with me today. Yeah, my younger self would be proud of my tenacity for sure. I definitely would think that that would be work. That word works for me today. Anybody else fill that in? I'd love you to know what would make little girl you or little boy you proud of you today, something that you already have today. Okay. And maybe it's clarity, like an awareness, this awakening of like, I can do more for me now. Patricia, I can do more for me now. I can focus on these other elements that just bring me joy. My younger girl self would be proud of me for raising my children and being retired and supporting. Yes, Liz. And supporting my family. And she would be so proud of me for doing that and so beyond proud of me that she is now, that I am now learning new things and sparking joy and music and dance in my life. Heck yes, that's amazing. That's success. It's so beautiful. And yes, it's okay. If you're a little shit then and you're still a little shit now, Liz, it's beautiful. Your younger self would be proud of you for still being that way because you know what? That's who you are. You're a little, like, I just had the idea of like, you're a little stinky one, little stinker. I love that. My daughter, Arcadia, I call her a stinker sometimes. I'm like, you're a stinker. Now I can equate that. It's beautiful and I love it. And it's like the mischievous little look that she gives me. And she'll say something, it's kind of sarcastic, but it's also extremely witty. And I'm like, oh, do I reel that one in or do I let it go? As a parent, I'm like, ooh, sometimes that's a borderline. I don't know about that sarcasm. How do you even already have that sarcasm? You're 5. And then other times I'm like, dang, that's impressive. The intelligence to weave those words together in the tone and the dialect that you did, you know, it's beautiful. I am starting to imagine, Hannah says. I have time for me, says Susan. Yes, welcome to imagination, Hannah. I can't wait to see what you create as well, Hannah. What version of you you're chiseling out, your David, if you will, from the Michelangelo David, like you're chiseling out your David, but it's your Hannah. You're chiseling out the Hannah that you desire to be. It's so magnificent. Oh, you guys. Okay, so a couple questions, and I'd love for you guys, if you have pen and paper, to write these down and do this work. So these Monday Move sessions are supposed to be short, sweet, to the point. Every month inside of Abundance, we do a full hour-long coaching call, and it's very similar to this, where I share a topic. I give you guys a workbook, so you don't have to just handwrite notes. You can print out the workbook as well. And we go a little deeper on all these kinds of things. But for today, I do want to give you guys some takeaway things. And I'll put this in an email for you tomorrow too, because I'm finalizing a blog post on this same topic. I love this topic. Here's the questions. Here's the things you can write down. Write down your own definition of success in one sentence, guys. Just one sentence. Can you boil it down? I don't want to tell you what mine is because I want it to be yours, but just one sentence. What is your measuring stick of success? So if you were to hold up a ruler, what is on it so that you know that you're a success, that you're doing the thing today? When you go to bed at night, doesn't matter how many things went wrong. It was a success today because, and I'll give you a little hint. It's probably when you're staying the most aligned, right? The achievements aren't the thing, but it's the alignment, like I said before. And so what are those things? What are your core values? What are you most aligned with? If you strip away what others expect of you, this is the thing that makes you successful. Because along the journey of becoming the person that's the most successful version of you, you are going to lose people that are not in alignment with you anymore. That happens. You are going to stand out as like the odd man or the odd woman in the room sometimes when you're measuring your success based on what you truly desire and not what the norm or the room expects. You're not being a jerk. You're not pushing people around, but you're just saying, this is what I desire. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And there's a lot of people on the planet. You don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. Feel this sentence, like this is it. When I read this sentence, I'm like looking at my hand. When I read this sentence, I feel it, like that matters. If I was to die tomorrow and this wasn't the thing, like this wasn't done, I would feel unsuccessful. I wasn't this version of me, I would feel unsuccessful. Alignment matters more than achievement. So success is earned, it's not bought. It's deeply personal, and only you can define it. And if you would like to share it, please feel free. If you would like to journal about it and not share it, please feel free. But I just want to say, before we wrap up today, thank you guys, because you guys are like lighting up the chat. And as it comes through and you guys share, it's so beautiful to see how the message resonates with each one of us differently. And it's also so beautiful because not only we're all connecting on the same conversation right now. And if you catch the replay, do #replay and let us know. But this is where community gets built. So when you guys are in the chat, Liz is seeing Sarah, Sarah is seeing Hannah, Hannah is seeing Patricia. And then, Anne, and I think I saw Teresa was on, but I don't know if she was on anymore. This chat, this is our community here. So if you feel like as you're changing your success measurement and you're like maybe the only one in your space, in your own community, in-person community, that's like maybe trying to do more, because I have been here and done this personally, tried to change things. And you have to sometimes, when you do that, you have to realize that the people you surround yourself with in proximity in person aren't necessarily always doing that same work. And so success can feel like you're going against the grain, and then the mindset kicks in. And you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if that's really what I want anymore. I don't know if I really want to be successful in that regard. Maybe I'll just play small again. And you'll back yourself right back into a hole again. So I want you to stay connected in this community, to each other, to me, to reach out to others in this community. That's the value and the importance of community and finding like-minded people dancing through life, whatever that looks like. Everybody's different. I want to read what you're welcome, Hannah. Okay, everybody have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for being here. You guys all mean the world. I'll talk to you later. Bye.